Dear voters, hi, I'm Janina, a 17-year-old high school student who's 1 year short of joining you in voting for our future leaders. There has been a lot of talk about politics lately, which is to be expected. Elections is like 1 week away. I don't know much about politics, so I'm gonna try to explain this in the best way that I can. And that's through beauty. The thing is, makeup is a big industry here in the Philippines, even bigger than skincare. Why? Makeup quickly covers imperfections and makes things beautiful in a snap. Unfortunately, with a cost. We don't put importance in skincare, which addresses our flaws in the first place, because we find it inconvenient, time-consuming, and costly. We want change now, even though that change will be temporary and it will eventually cost us more in the long run. A lot of us settle for shortcuts because we're not willing to pay the price for long-term and lasting changes in our nation. I had a nice conversation with my Uber driver the other night. Hi, Kuya Vince! Of course, the topic of politics came up and he said something that really struck me. What struck me is the reason why he was voting for this particular candidate. At sabi niya, para sa kabataan, for the next generation of our country. Why are you voting for who you're voting for? Is it because it's convenient? Or because it'll benefit you now? Dahil lang ba may connection ka sa kanya? O may utang na loob ka sa kanya? O dahil binayaran ka? Or is it because you firmly believe that that candidate can make significant and lasting change in our country? Your vote can potentially change our country for better or worse. So I beg of you to think it through very well because you're voting on our behalf, the next generation. Okay, don't get me wrong, I'm aware that change doesn't come overnight, but I'm also aware that change doesn't come from just one person. It takes all of us, even just one small act at a time. Throwing the trash where you should, crossing at the right place, smiling at manong taho, giving instead of stealing, healing instead of hurting, loving instead of hating. Be the kind of leader that you want to have. I need to be the kind of leader that I want our nation to have. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, who not to vote for, but I can ask questions because that's what my generation is good at. As a high school student, ang panunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas is pounded into our hearts every flag ceremony. Ako ay Pilipino, buong katapatan nanunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas at sa bansang kanyang sinasagisag na may dangal, katarungan at kalayaan na pinakikilos ng sambayanang makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan at makabansa. Dangal, katarungan at kalayaan. Does your candidate support honor, justice, and freedom? In our own national anthem, we sing, Ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Dying is not just physical, but also dying to ambition and personal agenda. Putting others and the nation above what we want. It's easy to say that we're willing to die for the nation, but the other question is, are we willing to live sacrificially for the benefit of others? Oh, and one last thing. Pull out the bill, and you will see, written in small-sized capital letters, Pinagpala ang bayan na ang Diyos ay ang Panginoon. So my last question is, sino ang Diyos ng iyong kandidato? Does he or she see him or herself as the ultimate authority? Or does your candidate submit him or herself to the higher authority? Dear voters, this is my desire, for God to bless our nation. Not just for the next 6 years, but even more so after that. But even until the generations after. I want my children to enjoy a better Philippines. We are Filipinos for a reason. We were born in this country for such a time as this. If we won't love our nation, who else will?